Hey everyone, Vincenzo Calla here, and welcome to episode 38 of Let's Discuss Politics. Today, I'm glad to be joined by the MP for Nepean, my MP, Chandra Arya. Thanks, Chandra, so much for joining me today.
No, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's so great to have you here, and let's get this interview started. So, first off, I wanted to start off with a segment called Chandra's Story, where we'll talk a bit about who you are and your political history. So, first off, I wanted to ask you, can you tell me a bit about yourself, your story, and how you got your start in politics?
I had a different career in my life. I started as an engineer. I was a banker, financial institution, financing small industries. Then I had my own small manufacturing company. Then I was involved in setting up, promoting industries in six oil-rich GCC countries. Then I was an investment advisor in at CIBC Wood Gundy. Last 6 years before joining politics, I was in a defense technology company as a CFO. However, I was always active in the community. For example, I was on the board of Invest Ottawa, the economic development agency of the city of Ottawa. I was on the board of an affordable company. So I was always active. So naturally, politics is the same as being active in the community, except it is one level higher where the scope is much wider and the impact is much larger. So in 2014, when our only son started his career, same time the Nepean riding became new. Same time, you know, me and my wife, we are discussing all these years we have been active in community. What next? Then politics was the natural call. But more importantly, I, as a community activist, felt I was standing outside a boardroom, pitching and advocating my ideas for the people coming inside the boardroom who would make decisions. So we thought, why we should say outside? Why don't we go inside? And that's how I entered politics.
So that's so interesting. And I wanted to ask you now, why had you decided in 2014, 2015 to step up and run for the Liberal nomination in Nepean and eventually run for our member of parliament back in 2015?
As I said, the many factor I explained that happened in 2014. That was when our only son started his career. As parents, we thought our responsibility ended, that he started his career. And that was that year it was announced that the Nepean Carlton riding will be split into two. And that was the year just before then, Justin Trudeau had become the leader of the Liberal Party. And me being a centrist in my political ideology, fiscally slightly on the right side of the center, socially on the left side of the center. So for me, Liberal Party appealed, and I offered myself a nomination, had a long nomination battle, which I won very decisively.
So let's talk a bit now about your time since 2015, which feels like forever ago. It feels like it's been a while now. So I wanted to ask you in this segment, which is called Serving as an Elected Official, first off, what's your favorite part about serving Nepean?
The best part of being a member of parliament is that I get to meet a people every single day. Every single day, I meet somebody new, somebody for the first time, of a different background, different industry, different expertise, different knowledge, different viewpoint. I get to meet them, talk to them, discuss with them. That is the beauty of being a member of parliament. Every single day, almost.
So now I wanted to ask you, building on your job as a local member of parliament, what has been your favorite achievement over the past 7 years that you've been the MP?
See, there are favorite. When you say favorite, there are two aspects. What I have done, which I like, which I am proud of doing to Nepean. There are many things, but few things that pop out is that AreaX.O. That is a thing set up by Invest Ottawa to promote technology from autonomous driving vehicle technology to smart agriculture. And since I became a member of parliament, have brought in money to help set it up. First round, $7 million. And recently, in fact, just last month, we announced additional funding of over $5.5 million for the expansion of Area X.O in Nepean. And obviously, I've also been a key driver in getting the Barhaven downtown project to build a library, come cultural center, come senior centers, etc. However, every member of parliament gets one chance every 4 years to present his or her proposal. Only about 20% of the MPs will get their own private members' bill passed in the parliament, only 20% or maybe less. And I'm one of my favorite thing is that my private members' bill in the first round in 2015 on the hate crimes against our mosques, synagogues, churches, temples, that got passed, and now it is the part of the criminal code of the federal government.
Well, and so many important things here. And I was gonna ask you, regardless whether you brought it up or not, about the Barhaven downtown. So I'm happy you brought it up. And I wanted to ask you, as a community leader yourself, I wanted to ask you if you could see one thing added to this or brought in this Barhaven downtown, what is it that you want to see happening in this Barhaven downtown?
Uh, Two things actually that is part of not only Barhaven downtown, but the entire part of Barhaven itself, the infrastructure. Barhaven has become a town by itself, I think, with population close to 100,000. So, a lot of things that is needed into the infrastructure that's still missing in Barhaven. The project that we brought in with 40% federal funding was one of those important things. The second is that if you want to hold an event in Barhaven today, there's no place. There's absolutely no place. If you have 100 to 300 people, there's no place you can hold an event. Just imagine if Barhaven was an independent town. We don't have, for example, we don't have a hotel where we can host an event. We have got a new hotel there. The maximum capacity is 85 people. We have Minto Creation Center. The maximum capacity, the meeting room has got 75 people, but it doesn't have any kitchen facility. So those are the kind of things that we need to see in the Barrio.
Well, definitely some investments needed and some building up, and something that I'm sure I will continue talking about with David Hill and Wilson Lowe, who have joined me, and all the community leaders who are serving our community and building up a better Barhaven over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So we're going to go on to the last segment now, which is called The World of Politics Around Us, where we'll talk about this world of politics that surrounds us. So first off, I wanted to ask you, who is or who was another politician that inspires you?
Actually, nobody.
No?
I'm very frank here because I do have read about quite a number of leaders across the world, whether in UK, US, Canada, etc. But there is no one single person I can say that inspired me. But I try to read as much as possible, to try to learn from various leaders of different times. So there's no one single person I can name.
And finally, now I wanted to ask you, what do you think is an issue that needs to be focused on more going forward in politics?
Yeah, that is a very important question. If you ask any Canadian today, obviously they say some say healthcare is a very major thing, etc. And some people may say the cost of living. I mean, depending on the time living in. However, for me, the most important issue of the day and of the future is how the different levels of the government they interact with each other, they cooperate with each other, whether the federal government or the various provinces and territories and the major cities. How well we need to work together as Team Canada. We have seen one down in the south when Donald Trump wanted to tear up the NAFTA agreement. Canada came as one. All levels of the government worked as one team Canada, and we achieved the results. You may be surprised to know, many Canadians are surprised to know that we have free trade agreement with over 50 different countries, but we don't have free trade within Canada. Our doctors and nurses can't go from province to province. Our trades people can't go from province to province. You can't bring in British Columbia wine into Ontario, or we can't take the products made in Nova Scotia to Saskatchewan. So we need more cooperation. I think that I think is the need of the day and the need of the future too.
Definitely, and definitely some important issues now that we're looking at sort of healthcare and bringing nurses and nurses wanting to go out and work in other provinces and just all these workers that want to work and maybe move around in Canada and making sure that they can do that within our country.
Absolutely.
That is all for today. Thank you, Chandra, so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Well, it was so great having you. And if you liked this video, make sure to go check out my other interview with today's guest here on YouTube for Top 10. If you're watching this on the day of the premiere, it'll be coming out on Friday. To stay updated, make sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at VC Productions 25. Check out my website, VincenzoCalla.com, and make sure to like and share this video. Make sure to also subscribe and get notifications here on YouTube. Let's Discuss Politics is VCalla Productions. So until the next video, I'm Vincenzo Calla, signing out.